Layers of the Earth. The structure of the Earth is divided into four major components: the crust, the mantle, the outer core, and the inner core. Each layer has a unique chemical composition, physical state, and can impact life on Earth's surface. The crust, mantle, inner core, and outer core. The crust is the thinnest and the outermost layer of the Earth that extends from the surface to about 32 km below. Underneath some mountains the crust's thickness extends to 72 km. There are two types of crust: the continental crust and the oceanic crust. Continental crust is the outermost layer of Earth's lithosphere that forms the large land masses. Continental crust are found under land masses and is made of such less dense rocks such as granite. The thickness of the continental crust is mostly 35 to 40 km. The continental crust is made up of 8 elements: oxygen, silicon, aluminum, iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Oceanic crust. The outermost layer of Earth's lithosphere that is found under the oceans and formed at spreading centers on oceanic ridge. The oceanic crust is around 7 to 10 km thick, which average thickness is 8 km. It is found under the ocean floor and is made of dense rocks such as basalt. The oceanic crust is much more heavier than the continental crust. Mantle. Beneath the crust is the mantle, which extends about 2,900 km from the Earth's surface. The mantle makes up about 80% of the Earth's total volume, and about 68% of its total mass. The mantle is mainly made up of silicate rocks, and it is solid because both S-wave and P-wave pass through it. The mantle is mostly made of these elements: silicon, oxygen, iron and magnesium. The mantle has two layers: the upper mantle and the lower mantle. The lower mantle consists more iron than the upper mantle. This explains that the lower mantle is denser than the upper mantle. The temperature and the pressure increase with the depth. The high temperature and pressure in the mantle allows the solid rock to flow slowly. The upper mantle surrounds the lower mantle and consists of a combination of solid and molten rock. The upper mantle is mostly solid. The very uppermost portion of the mantle is part of the lithosphere, a layer that includes the crust. The upper mantle extends from the crust to a depth of about 410 km. The lower mantle is located approximately 400 to 1,800 miles below the surface. This layer is located directly above the outer core and contains solid rock that is around 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit in temperature. The lower mantle is hotter and denser than the upper mantle and transition zone. Silicon and magnesium makes up the compounds that are large part of the lower mantle. The most common compound is silicate perovskite, made up of magnesium, iron, silicon, and oxygen. Lithosphere. The lithosphere is the solid outer part of Earth. The lithosphere includes the brittle upper portion of the mantle and the crust, the outermost layers of Earth's structure. It is bounded by the atmosphere above and the asthenosphere below. The uppermost part of the mantle and crust forms a relatively cool, outermost rigid shell called the lithosphere. The lithosphere with the continents on top of it is being carried by flowing asthenosphere, and the lithosphere move relative to each other. Outer core. The outer core is the third layer of the Earth. It is the only liquid layer, and is mainly made up of the metals, iron, and nickel, as well as small amounts of other substances. The outer core is responsible for Earth's magnetic field. As Earth spins on its axis, the iron inside the liquid outer core moves around. The temperature in the outer core reaches up to 2,000 degrees Celsius. At this very high temperature, iron and nickel melt. Aside from the seismic data analysis, the Earth's magnetic field strengthens the idea that the outer core is mainly made up of iron and nickel, moving around the solid inner core, and creating the Earth's magnetism. Inner core. The innermost part of Earth is the core. The inner core is made up of a solid iron and nickel and has a radius of 1,300 kilometers. Its temperature reaches to about 5,000 degrees Celsius. This extreme temperature could have molten iron and nickel, but it's believed to have solidified as a result of pressure freezing, which is common to liquids subjected under tremendous pressure. What tells us that the inner core and outer core are made up of iron? Aside from the fact that the Earth has magnetic field, and that it must be iron or other materials which are magnetic in nature. 1. The inner core must be 14 times denser than water. 2. Iron and nickel are both dense and magnetic. 3. The overall density of the Earth is much higher than the density of the rocks in the crust. This suggests that the inside must be made up of something denser than rocks. And number 4. Meteorite analysis have revealed that the most common type is chondrite. Chondrite contains iron, silicon, magnesium, and oxygen. Some also contains nickel. The whole Earth and the meteorite roughly have the same density, thus Earth's mantle and meteorite minus its iron have the same density.